What if I told you the world's most successful criminals never fired a bullet, never left a fingerprint, and some of them never even stepped foot inside the crime scene? What if I told you the perfect crime isn't just a Hollywood fantasy? It's a blueprint, studied, tested, refined, executed. These aren't smash-and-grab thugs. They're engineers, psychologists, chess players with blueprints and nerves of steel. And when they move like shadows, quiet, precise, undetected, until it's too late. From tunnels carved beneath bank vaults in Sao Paulo, to rooftop landings with helicopters in Stockholm, to diamonds stolen from underground bunkers in Antwerp guarded by laser grids and heat sensors. These are the stories you're not supposed to hear, because they expose just how fragile our security really is. High-profile heists are not crimes of opportunity. They're operations, planned like military missions, executed like art, and sometimes they vanish without a trace, leaving behind nothing but stunned headlines and missing millions. But here's the catch. Every great heist starts the same way, with an idea. A single moment where someone stares at a vault, a museum wall, a Brinks truck, and thinks, what if? In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on the criminal underworld's most daring, most intelligent, and most unbelievable heists. We'll show you how they plan them, down to the second. How they recruit teams like a Hollywood director casting a film. How they bypass the most advanced security systems in the world. And how, even after stealing millions, they often end up behind bars, all because of a single mistake. This isn't about glorifying crime. It's about understanding it. Because when you see how much thought goes into pulling off the perfect heist, you'll realize it's not just about breaking the law. It's about breaking the system and getting away with it. So buckle up. This is the dark psychology, twisted brilliance, and shocking reality behind how criminals plan and execute high-profile heists. Let's begin. The psychology of a heist mastermind. Every high-profile heist starts with one person. Not a thug, not a maniac, but a thinker. Someone who walks into a building, looks around, and doesn't see walls or alarms. They see a system. And every system has a weakness. The mastermind isn't obsessed with money. They're obsessed with control. Because when you can outsmart a billion-dollar vault, you're not just rich, you're powerful. These people don't live reckless lives. They're patient, paranoid, obsessive. They'll spend months, even years, planning a single night. They'll memorize guard rotations, study the brand of every bolt on a steel door, and even track the scent trail left by police K9s. Why? Because in a real heist, one single mistake, a smudge, a noise, a second too slow, can mean prison. Or worse. And here's the real twist. A lot of them don't come from the streets. They come from universities, from the military, from families you'd never suspect. Take Leonardo Notarbartolo, the so-called mastermind behind the $100 million Antwerp diamond heist. He didn't break in with brute force. He used charm. He rented office space in the same building, posed as a diamond merchant, and spent 2 whole years watching, learning, and earning the guards' trust, until he had full access, all without suspicion. Or Anthony Curcio, a high school football star turned suburban dad, who orchestrated a $400,000 armored truck heist using nothing but GPS tracking, Craigslist decoys, and a perfectly timed costume. He didn't need a weapon, just timing and genius. So what makes someone become this? In most cases, it's not desperation, it's thrill, the adrenaline of beating a system, the ego of thinking, I can do it better than anyone else. It's the same mindset you find in CEOs, startup founders, and yes, even elite military strategists. But here, the startup is the crime. These masterminds don't just want money, they want legacy. To be remembered as the one who pulled off the impossible. And the deeper you dive into their minds, the more chilling it gets. Because once you realize how ordinary they seem, you start wondering, how many others like them are out there, planning, watching, waiting. Before we dive deeper into the mechanics of how they do it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and comment your opinion below. Have you heard of any real-life heists near your area? Or do you think you could plan one better than the cases we're about to expose? Turn on that notification bell, because trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. Up next, how the world's most dangerous criminals begin every heist months before the crime even happens. Let's get into the invisible phase. Scouting and surveillance. The invisible phase. Before the masks go on, before the vault is cracked, before the getaway car is even gassed up, there's the phase no one sees. The invisible phase. This is where real heists begin. In shadows, behind coffee cups, under fake names, in broad daylight. Because the truth is, the most important part of any high-profile heist happens before the crime. This is surveillance. Not the kind done by police, the kind done on police. Criminals don't rob banks anymore. They rob information. And it starts with location. Take the Banco Central burglary in Brazil, one of the largest cash heists in history. It wasn't just a group of guys with masks. It was a front. A fake landscaping company set up an office across the street from the bank. For 3 months, the crew posed as businessmen, hauling dirt, buying equipment, laughing with neighbors. But beneath the floorboards, they were digging a tunnel, 278 feet long, straight into the vault. And when they broke through, they walked out with $70 million in cash. No alarms, no violence, no cameras. They disappeared before the police even knew it happened. This is the power of surveillance. Criminals will spend weeks studying security schedules. They'll stake out bank entrances disguised as food delivery drivers. They'll time guard shifts using nothing but binoculars, paper, and silence. They'll even install their own hidden cameras to study your hidden cameras. And in the digital age, it gets worse. Some crews hack into blueprints. Others use drones. In 2018, a European crew flew drones over armored truck depots, just to track security movement patterns. Then they sold the data on the dark web to whoever had the balls to pull the trigger. Still think this is petty crime? This is corporate-level recon. There are criminals today who have advanced knowledge of HVAC schematics, thermal sensor placements, laser detection ranges, and biometric vulnerabilities. They use thermal imaging to find heat leaks in vault walls. They analyze airflow to determine how often certain doors open. They even follow employees home, not to hurt them, but to get close. Want a master key? Find a janitor. Want the code? Befriend a manager's kid on social media. Want the security patterns? Just buy them from a corrupt tech contractor. Because every institution has a weak link, and all it takes is one door, one code, one moment where someone forgets to lock the back gate. That's how you get in. Without force, without suspicion. It's chess, not checkers. And surveillance is the first move. And speaking of moves, if you're still watching this far, you're one of the smart ones. So help us out by smashing that like button and dropping a comment below. How much would you plan before making your move? Or do you think most of these criminals just get lucky? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because in the next chapter, we're building the dream team, recruiting the perfect crew. And trust me, not everyone makes the cut. No one robs $100 million alone. Every legendary heist has one thing in common: a crew. But not just any crew, the perfect crew. A real heist is like a movie production. You need roles, you need chemistry, and you need trust. Because one weak link can bring it all crashing down. So how do criminals recruit the perfect team? It starts with purpose. The mastermind isn't just looking for talent, he's looking for control. He needs people who follow orders, but think fast under pressure. The mastermind. The architect. He sees the big picture. Every guard, every sensor, every backup plan. In the Lufthansa heist of 1978, it was Jimmy Burke, a quiet mobster with an iron grip on every moving part. He didn't even show up at the airport, but he knew every second of the plan and made sure those who talked disappeared. The hacker. Modern heists don't need crowbars, they need code. The hacker disables alarms, loops camera feeds, and sometimes takes over entire security systems remotely. In the Banco Itaú job, hackers accessed the bank's internal network weeks in advance, testing doors remotely before the break-in even started. The muscle. He's not just a bodyguard, he's the presence. The one who walks in first and keeps everyone calm, or terrified. You don't want someone reckless. You want someone who knows when to punch and when to wait. the driver. Fast, focused, forgettable. No heist succeeds without a clean getaway. And the driver plans escape routes like war generals map out invasions. The insider, maybe it's a janitor, maybe it's a security guard with debts, or a tech consultant who feels underpaid. Insiders are the golden ticket. They hold keys, they know shift schedules, and if paid well, they keep their mouths shut. So how do these people find each other? Dark web forums, prison connections, or through layers of middlemen who never use real names. The trick isn't just finding talent, it's managing risk. Background checks, loyalty tests, sometimes even fake jobs to see if someone cracks under pressure. Because one person gets sloppy, one text, one ego trip, it's over. In the Hatton Garden heist, it was a former convict named Brian Reeder, 76 years old. He assembled a team of aging criminals, the best of the old school. But one guy couldn't resist bragging, and that's how the cops got in. In high-stakes crime, the wrong friend can get you life in prison. And here's a cold truth. Sometimes, the crew doesn't even know the full plan. The mastermind keeps them compartmentalized. Need-to-know basis. So if anyone flips, they don't have enough to ruin everything. This isn't loyalty, it's insurance. So ask yourself, could you trust 4 other people with your freedom, your life, your millions? The mastermind can. Or at least, he thinks he can. But you're smart. You've made it this far. So don't forget to like this video, drop a comment on your favorite criminal crew story, and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this insane breakdown. And hit that notification bell. Because up next, we're stepping into the theater. Disguises, diversions, and the power of distraction. You won't believe how far some criminals go just to make you look the other way. The best criminals know one thing above all. People don't see what's right in front of them, if you give them something louder to look at. Disguise isn't just about masks, it's about perception. You don't have to be invisible, you just have to be ignored. And criminals have mastered the art of blending in. Want to walk into a high-security building without a badge? Wear a reflective vest and carry a clipboard. People assume you belong. They hold the door open for you. And they never ask questions. That's how 3 men in Paris robbed a private bank holding over 10 million euros in cash and jewels. They wore fake construction uniforms, rerouted pedestrian traffic, and calmly walked into the building. No alarms, no weapons, no struggle. Because nobody suspects the guy holding a blueprint. In high-profile heists, distraction is a weapon. In 2013, a gang in Brussels robbed a Swiss-bound plane in under 5 minutes. They timed their move during an airport staff shift change, drove 2 fake police vehicles onto the tarmac, held the guards at gunpoint, and vanished with $50 million in diamonds. No shots fired, no chase, because everyone else was looking the other way. Sometimes, criminals create decoy crimes, set off a car bomb down the block, trigger a false fire alarm, or stage a fake robbery across town to pull police in the wrong direction. And it works. Because emergency response is about priority. And while police are chasing a high-speed car down the freeway, the real job is going down quietly 2 blocks away. Then there's identity manipulation. In the Antwerp diamond heist, one of the most sophisticated of all time, Leonardo Notarbartolo and his crew built fake identities over years. They posed as traders, joined the Diamond Center, built trust, even installed fake security systems inside the vault to monitor the real ones. By the time the job went down, the guards didn't suspect a thing. Because why would they? You don't question a friend. You don't arrest a face you've seen every day for 2 years. Heists aren't pulled off in ski masks anymore. They're pulled off in plain sight. The trick? Becomes so normal, you vanish. And sometimes that includes changing more than your clothes. Fake IDs, fake passports, cosmetic surgery, even voice alteration. Some heist crews operate for years, swapping identities like playing cards. And here's where it gets dark. There are entire crime rings that specialize in making you disappear for a price. You pull the job, they wipe your name, move your money through a shell company, set you up in Belize with a new passport and a beachfront condo. The heist is just the beginning. The real magic is staying free. So the next time you see a janitor walking past a security checkpoint, or a delivery driver entering through the back door of a jewelry store, Ask yourself, are they really who they say they are? Or are they counting on the fact that you won't ask? And hey, if you've made it this far, you clearly have the brain for this kind of story, so help us out. Like this video, comment below with your favorite vanish in plain sight moment from history or fiction, and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell, because the next chapter, it's about the moment of truth. The entry, getting in without a trace. The point where planning meets execution. Let's break down exactly how criminals breach the most secure facilities in the world, without anyone noticing. All the planning, all the surveillance, all the crew building and misdirection. It all leads to this moment. This is the razor's edge. The place where fear meets precision. Because once you're inside, there's no turning back. If a motion sensor blinks, if a single lock clicks wrong, if a camera catches even a shadow, it's game over. And the criminals know it. So how do they get in? The old way was brute force. Break the glass, blow the door, kick it down. But now, it's science. Some use lockpicking kits that cost more than your rent. Silent, surgical, and built to bypass even modern tumblers. Others bypass locks completely, crawling through vents, roof panels, or underground piping. In the Hatton Garden Heist, one of the biggest in British history, the crew entered through an elevator shaft. Then, they drilled through 2 feet of reinforced concrete using industrial-grade power tools. No alarms, no alerts. Just dust and patience. In Brazil's Banco Central heist, they didn't enter the bank at all. They tunneled under it. 278 feet, hand-dug over 3 months, shored with wooden beams, ventilated, literature engineered to pop up inside the vault floor. They removed 3.5 tons of cash and vanished. Some crews use social engineering. They don't force their way in, they get invited. A hacker sends a phishing email to a bank manager. They click a link. Boom. Internal access. The hackers disable door alarms from the inside. Guards think everything's normal. Others use insiders to prop open emergency exits, or disable magnetic locks just long enough for entry. And in some cases, security systems are so outdated, a teenager with a Wi-Fi jammer can shut them down completely. There's also timing. Criminals know that most buildings have dead zones, hours when guards are tired, distracted, or changing shifts. In the Brinks Mat robbery, the crew hit the depot at 6:40 a.m. Why? Because it was just after shift change. Everyone was disoriented. Security was lowest. They walked away with $26 million in gold. And even when the entry point is heavily protected, there's always a plan B. Some criminals carry mini EMP devices, frying electronics for a few seconds. Others plant audio jammers to stop microphones from recording. A few even bring backup disguises, so if they're spotted, they can blend into a crowd before anyone realizes. The goal isn't just to get in. It's to leave no sign you were ever there. No forced entry, no fingerprints, no broken glass, just silence. And when the crime is discovered the next morning, investigators scratch their heads and ask, how did they get in? That's the perfect entry. That's the fantasy every crew chases. And for a few, they make it real. If you're enjoying this breakdown, don't forget to smash that like button, drop a comment with your favorite method of entry. Tunnel, vent, social hack, pick your poison. And subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to turn on notifications, because coming up next, we're racing against the clock. The execution window, seconds to succeed. In the world of high-profile heists, timing is everything. And even 1 second too slow can cost millions. You're inside. Now the clock starts ticking. Because no matter how perfect your plan is, everything depends on execution. You don't get hours, you get minutes, sometimes seconds. And in the world of elite criminals, those seconds are calculated, measured, rehearsed. This is the execution window, the most dangerous, most delicate moment in a high-profile heist. Think of it like surgery. One wrong cut and everything bleeds out. Too fast, you miss something. Too slow, you're caught. Most professional crews rehearse the heist like a military operation. They build mock-ups of the target. They simulate guard responses. They even practice carrying the exact weight of the loot, down to the last ounce, because adrenaline messes with perception. 10 minutes in a vault feels like 30 seconds. Your hands sweat. Your heartbeat thumps in your ears. And one small panic from one crew member can collapse the entire job. In the Brinks job of 1950, the robbers had just 30 minutes inside the Boston Depot. They moved with surgical speed, duct taping guards, cracking safes, and hauling cash in complete silence. When they left, they'd taken $2.7 million, over $30 million in today's money. No gunshots, no alarms, but even then, they almost stayed too long. One of the getaway drivers circled the block too early, spooking a bystander. And that single moment led to the FBI's first tip. In many heists, the execution window is less than 10 minutes. In 2019, a German crew stole 21 priceless items from Dresden's Green Vault, one of the most secure museums in Europe. They cut the power, smashed reinforced glass, grabbed the jewels, and disappeared, all in under 8 minutes. Police arrived 2 minutes later, too late. But this isn't just about speed, it's about control. Inside a heist, every second is assigned 00 to 100, enter and secure the location. 1 to 4, disable alarms and contain witnesses. 4 to 6, crack the safe or breach the vault. 6 to 9, load, double-check, exit. 9 to 10, disappear. Anything over that, and you're gambling with your life. But here's where it gets psychological. The bigger the score, the harder it is to walk away. You see an extra stack of bills, an untouched safe, or a diamond no one mentioned in the plan. Greed whispers, just one more. And that's where most crews fail. Because that one more minute might be the minute a silent alarm triggers. The minute a janitor walks in. The minute a cop passing by radios and something off. And it gets worse when things go wrong. What happens when the hacker loses connection? When the insider doesn't show up? When a locked door refuses to open? The best crews don't just plan for success, they plan for failure. Backup exits, alternate getaway routes, burner phones with pre-written texts, pre-buried caches with extra ID, cash, and car keys. Because in the execution window, there's no time to think, only time to react. And your reaction must already be part of the plan. That's why most criminals fail here. Not because they're not smart, but because they're not disciplined. Because it's one thing to plan a heist. It's another to keep your cool when you're staring down a $100 million painting and a blinking red light. So let's ask the question, would you be able to walk away at minute 9? Or would you stay for just one more? Because pulling off the crime is one thing, but vanishing without a trace? That's the true masterpiece. Getting out, escape routes, and clean drops. Every heist has a heartbeat. And in the moment the loot is secured, that heartbeat turns into thunder. Because if getting in was hard, getting out is 10 times harder. This is where most heists unravel. Because the pressure isn't over once the vault's open. It's just beginning. The perfect escape isn't fast. It's invisible. No squealing tires. No rooftop chases. No helicopters overhead. Just a silent disappearance, like smoke. The truth is, the best getaway cars never park near the scene. They're stashed blocks away, inside alley garages, behind construction zones, or hidden in plain sight, looking like just another delivery van. And guess what? Most of them don't drive straight home. Smart crews run what's called the clean drop. It works like this. First car gets you away from the scene. Second car, parked at a secret location, switches plates and vehicle type. Third car is often unconnected to the crew, rented under a fake ID, or bought with cash from a junkyard. By the time police trace the first getaway vehicle, the crew's already wearing new clothes, using burner phones, and breathing on the other side of town. In some cases, the escape involves layers of misdirection. In the Stockholm helicopter heist, the crew landed a stolen chopper on the roof of a cash depot. They rappelled down, raided the vault, and lifted off again. While decoy spike strips and fake bombs delayed the cops for hours. Police helicopters were grounded, not because they couldn't fly, but because the crew planted fake reports of explosives on nearby runways. Brilliant. Terrifying. They vanished into the sky. Then there's the underground route. Remember the Banco Central Tunnel job? The crew literally walked underground, hundreds of feet back to their fake office, showered, changed, and drove off into traffic like it was just another Monday. By the time police realized the vault had been emptied, it had been 12 hours. The criminals were already gone. But escaping the scene is just half the battle. The real trick is escaping detection. Burner phones are dumped in rivers. Stolen gear is buried or destroyed. Crew members split up, sometimes never seeing each other again. The money? Hidden in layers. Part goes into crypto wallets. Part is cleaned through fake invoices and shell companies. Part is laundered through casinos, art dealers, or shady real estate. Some crews go so far as to flee the country the same night. Pre-booked flights under fake names, border crossings timed to the minute, private charter jets arranged through third parties. They don't stay to enjoy the riches. They evaporate, but even perfect escapes have weaknesses. A dropped glove, a forgotten camera, a crew member who texts their girlfriend from a burner phone, just to say, "We did it." And suddenly, the whole thing unravels, because police aren't stupid. They know where to look. Recent high cash purchases, suspicious flights, phone pings from burner devices, even new dental work or cosmetic surgery booked in cash. The greatest heist minds know this. So they build escape plans with failure in mind. One team member gets caught, they can't name the others. One car is spotted, it was meant to be. The best getaway is built like an illusion. Even if part of it's exposed, the rest stays intact. Because in the criminal underworld, you don't need to escape fast. You need to escape quiet. So now ask yourself, could you walk away with millions in your bag, knowing one wrong turn, one license plate, or one camera could send you to prison for life? Because the greatest heists don't end in gunfire. They end in silence. No one caught, no money found, no trace left behind. How did they vanish? Before we dive into the money trail, make sure you smash that like button, drop a comment about your favorite escape story, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell, because in the next chapter, we follow the money, the aftermath, laundering the loot. Because stealing is easy. Cleaning it? That's where it gets genius. So you just pulled off the impossible. Millions in cash, diamonds, article gold, gone without a trace. You're rich, right? Wrong. Because here's the uncomfortable truth about high-profile heists. Stealing the money is only half the job. Spending it without getting caught. That's the real heist. Enter the art of laundering. Most stolen money is useless in its raw form. Too hot, too traceable, too dangerous. $5 million in marked bills? Try walking into a dealership and paying cash. You'll get handcuffs, not keys. So the criminal's next move is to clean the money, make it look legal. And for that, they use a cocktail of front businesses, dirty banks, and sophisticated shell games. Let's break down how the best in the game do it. First, front companies. Criminals open legit businesses, car washes, restaurants, construction firms, strip clubs. They funnel stolen cash in as fake revenue, then slowly deposit it into real bank accounts, pay taxes, act normal. Now that $1 million in stolen bills looks like it came from 18 months of burger sales. 2. Luxury art and jewelry. Hard to trace, easy to move, insanely valuable. Steal a $10 million painting? You won't sell it at auction, but you can use it as collateral in black market loans, or trade it with other criminals for clean assets. Same with diamonds. They're small, unmarked, and once removed from documentation, impossible to trace. In fact, a huge chunk of the Antwerp diamond heist loot was never recovered, likely broken up and sold piece by piece across continents. 3. Real estate. Buy properties with fake IDs or shell corporations. Renovate them. Sell them legally. Now your dirty money just became capital gains. Some criminals go even further, buying land in developing nations or funneling funds into overseas developments where no one checks the source. 4. Fake invoicing. This is where things get technical. Create two companies on paper. One invoices the other for consulting services or equipment rentals. You pay the invoice with dirty cash. Now it's a business expense. The books are clean, the money flows, and no one asks questions. Ainda the cryptocurrency, the modern criminal's favorite tool. Buy crypto with cash, run it through a mixer or privacy coin. Then transfer it wallet to wallet across jurisdictions. Withdraw it on the other side of the world, completely clean. There are criminal syndicates today laundering hundreds of millions this way. Untraceable, decentralized, and faster than any bank. But here's where it gets dangerous. The more you launder, the more people you need. Accountants, money mules, fake ID experts, shady lawyers, offshore bankers, and each new person is a potential snitch. That's why many crews fall apart here. Not during the heist, but during the payout. Because someone gets greedy, spends too fast, flashes cash, brags in a nightclub, and suddenly the IRS, the DEA, and Interpol are all knocking. Remember the Brinks-Matt gold case? The crew stole over $26 million in gold, but laundering it took years. They smelted the gold into jewelry, melted it again, recast it, rebranded it, then sold it back into the market, legally. But one member got sloppy. He bought luxury cars, big homes, gambled in public, and that's how the whole network got traced. Because here's the golden rule of laundering. If it feels good, you're doing it wrong. Real laundering is boring, slow, meticulous, invisible. Flashy criminals make headlines. Smart ones disappear. So next time you see a car wash in a sketchy neighborhood pulling in $4 million a year, ask yourself, is that really just soap and water? And if you've made it this far, you clearly love the deeper, darker side of criminal economics. So give this video a like, comment your wildest theory on how stolen money gets cleaned, and don't forget to subscribe with that notification bell on. Because next, we talk about justice. Why most get caught anyway. Because even perfect crimes usually end in handcuffs. For all the planning, for all the genius, the drones, the shell companies, the tunnels, the hackers, most of them still get caught. Why? Because perfection doesn't exist. No matter how smart you are, no matter how clean the job was, time and ego will always betray you. Let's start with the most common reason. First, greed. The biggest threat to a criminal isn't the police, it's greed. You just stole $10 million, but now you want 15, then 20. Then you're planning a second hit while the first one is still under investigation. That's what took down the Hatton Garden crew. They pulled off a nearly flawless vault burglary. But the moment they split the cash, arguments, boasting. One guy started talking in the pub. Boom, arrests. Second, ego. Some criminals need the world to know how smart they are. They brag, they drop hints. They live too big, too fast. New houses, luxury cars, Instagram vacations, and suddenly, the tax man, the narcotics team, and the financial crimes unit all start sniffing around. One of the Lufthansa heist suspects bought his girlfriend a luxury car just days after the job, while the FBI was actively monitoring all known associates. That car got her killed, and that murder got him arrested. 3. Loose ends. No crew is perfect. Someone always gets scared, jealous, sloppy. One member stashes their cut in a locker, another tells their girlfriend. Someone gets pulled over with too much cash. And here's the thing. Police don't need to catch all of you. They just need one. From there, it's dominoes. Fourth, digital trails. Today, crime leaves footprints everywhere. Phone pings, Google Maps history, traffic camera metadata. Even smartwatches have given criminals away, tracking heart rate spikes near crime scenes. In the Green Vault heist, the suspects were caught because they left DNA on a dropped tool, and were already in the police database for another robbery. Game over. 5. Undercover stings and informants. You think your hacker is loyal. You think your driver is in it for the long haul, until they get arrested for a completely unrelated crime, and the cops offer them a deal. Suddenly, they're not your crew anymore. They're evidence. Entire cartels have been taken down by one guy flipping. That's all it takes. 6th time. Even if you get away clean, even if you launder every penny, time is your enemy. Because cold cases get reopened. Technology improves. Old evidence gets retested. New databases get linked. And your face from a blurry 2003 CCTV clip suddenly becomes AI-enhanced, matched, and flagged. That's how dozens of old heist suspects, who thought they'd gotten away, got arrested 15 to 20 years later. So let's be brutally honest. The perfect crime is a myth. even if you beat the system has time, patience, and a global network of surveillance. It doesn't have to catch you today or tomorrow. It just has to wait until you slip. And most criminals, eventually, they do. Still, for a moment. They were ghosts, untouchable, legends. And that's the part that keeps new crews coming. Every year, every country, every system. Trying to pull the perfect heist, knowing full well how most of them end. Before we dive into the final chapter, where we confront the real question behind all this, hit that like button, comment below with the most shocking way you've seen a criminal get caught, and subscribe if you've stuck with us this far. Turn on the notification bell, because the ending, it's about why they do it in the first place. So why do they keep doing it? The psychology, the myth, and the hunger behind the heist. They know the odds. They know the risk. They've seen the news stories, the arrests, the betrayals, the prison sentences, and still, they plan, they scheme, they execute. Why? The answer isn't just about money. If it were, most of these people could have gone legit. They had the intelligence, the strategy, the charisma. But for many high-level criminals, it's never just about the cash. It's about something deeper. The rush. A vault opens. A laser grid shuts off. A helicopter lifts off the roof with $10 million in duffel bags. And in that moment, you've beaten the system. Not with violence, not with brute force, but with mind over machine. You're not just stealing, you're outsmarting. It's chess, it's art, it's control. And for some, that moment is worth more than anything money can buy. The myth. There's a reason Hollywood keeps remaking Ocean's 11. Why names like D.B. Cooper and Notar Bartolo are whispered like legends. Why vaults and armored trucks feel more like challenges than boundaries. Because heists, at their core, are the last great frontier of rebellion. One against many. Man versus system. Mind versus machine. And the allure of becoming a myth? Of doing what everyone says is impossible? That's something money can't buy. The illusion of control. Some criminals come from nothing. Poverty, abuse, war-torn countries. They spent their lives being powerless. But when they're holding blueprints to $1 billion vault, they feel untouchable, finally in control. Even if it's temporary. Even if it ends in prison. For once they were the ones pulling the strings. The belief in perfection. They study past failures. They learn from the mistakes of others. They tell themselves, they got caught because they were sloppy. I won't be. It's delusion, but it's also ambition. Because in every mastermind's heart, there's the belief that they'll be the one who gets away. And for a select few, they are. But here's the cold truth. The perfect heist doesn't exist. Not really. Because no matter how clean it is, no matter how much you plan, you'll never escape yourself. The fear, the ego, the guilt, the greed. These things catch up, no matter how fast you run. And even if you're never caught, you'll spend your life looking over your shoulder. Because once you rob the system never forgets. Still, they keep doing it. Because for some people, the risk isn't the downside. It's the point. Like this video if you stayed with us through the entire journey. Comment below. Do you think the perfect crime is possible? And most importantly, subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Because on this channel, we don't just tell stories. We expose the mind behind the crime. This has been How Do Criminals Plan and Execute High-Profile Heists? And now, you know.